my name is Gary Cox, and my area of expertise is process efficiency. And I'm here at Lindenright Holsteins farm with owner Jason van der Linden, and we're here to talk about how he onboarded his employees faster and with more efficiency, helped gain him more time. Let's talk a bit about your farm. Thanks very much for letting me join you today.
Yeah, no problem. We're in Antigonish, Nova Scotia, and we milk about 110 purebred Holsteins. We've got probably about 210 animals in total on the farm. We farm approximately 250 acres. And
how many staff do you have on a farm this size?
It varies. Currently, I guess for the summer, we've got 4 extra people. But like this past winter, it was a bunch of part-time work. We really have done it mostly on part-time with some full-time summer people.
So how important is it for you to onboard those new hires efficiently and effectively in a fairly short amount of time?
Well, I think the quicker we can get people up to speed and rolling at the tasks that they're assigned, the more effectively they're going to be able to do their jobs, the more time it's going to free up for me to do to work on other jobs, maybe some more high-end jobs, management, career management kind of stuff. So if we can get them up to speed on the jobs that they're assigned, then it'll free up the person that they might be working with to do some different jobs. So it's, for the farm as a whole, it's a pretty important thing.
What about the consequences of not onboarding somebody effectively and efficiently?
Well, I think the safety component is the big thing about not onboarding them effectively or efficiently, just because there's so many different ways in which a person could get injured. So you have to be very, very aware of your surroundings and all that stuff. Also, it's the time. Like, if you can't get someone up to speed in an effective manner, then it's going to require more time from the person trying to train them. So there's that lost time for other jobs.
So the purpose of us being here today with Jason is to talk a little bit about how we were able to work together to help him save time on the farm. Talk about performance management of your employees, of how you onboard and manage the performance of new hires. And we're also going to be looking at some of the safety components and how we ensure that there's a safety component, and how your employees feel valued. Do you feel that's important?
Yeah, I think in order to be a good employee and a valued member of a team, the employee has to get some joy out of the job they're doing, and I think they get that by not only working in a team, but like accomplishing tasks and seeing the result of the tasks they're working on.
Absolutely.
I think that gives you some pride in your job.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're going to be going through and talking with you about for the remainder of this training video. Can we have a look around?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, great. So one of the things that we introduced here on your farm was the fact that we brought in standard work.
Yeah.
Now, standard work is a continuous improvement tool for onboarding new hires, and also just generally making sure production happens the way you intend it to be done. Let's talk a little bit about what we did here for you.
Yeah, so like this kind of standard work is something has never been on this farm before, and maybe a little new to some of the sectors of agriculture, I guess. But this stuff really. A lot of people have seen this kind of stuff before. Like if you go to a fast food restaurant, for example, like you see the instructions behind the grill on how to make the patties and how to make the burgers, and it's just to bring that like a high level of consistency to the production line, so that whether you're eating the first burger or the last burger off that production line that day, they're all the same.
So how important is that to you in this operation? When I look at the standard work we created for you here, how important was it we ensured that you have that consistency?
Yeah, it's very important. You want the jobs done, the same way every time, so that the animals are well taken care of, and your machinery and equipment is well taken care of, and everything is how it should be. If you don't have something like this and you're training a new employee and maybe they're missing a step or two, and you come back at the end of the day after that employee has left and you notice, there's something not done, then you have to do it yourself. So the quicker you can get someone doing things the way you want it done consistently, it's far better for everybody involved.
Right, and then we've got some safety components identified here. We've got lots of pictures, before and after pictures. We've got some simple things. I noticed the yellow handles, for example, right? I was looking here, we got the yellow handles.
Still where they're supposed to be.
Still where they're supposed to be, which is great, right? And then we developed a checklist. And let's talk a little bit about the checklist as a part of your standard work. Why was this checklist an important component for you?
So, like when you run through this with a new person, you can go through all the steps and you can show them how you would go about doing this job and completing the couple steps. Then you have the checklist, because later on, as they get better at doing the job, like maybe they're not checking each step, but at the end, quickly check your checklist so that you know it's done. And then after a bit, a person has it all and, they remember how to do it all, and they can just complete it. But if they're ever missing something, they just have to go back and check the checklist or the procedure.
Yeah, no, which is great. And we've laminated these because of the environment they're in, which again, I think is another component. They have to be functional in your area and they have to work for you. And that's what we've been able to do. So we're in front of one of your tractors and the TMR mixer, which is total mixed rations. I got it. Yep. And so we introduced standard work here for a very specific reason. And that is, this is one of those tasks that you do or you have to do or get done.
A maintenance task. Yeah, there's certain pieces of gear that we use quite often that need to be greased regularly. So we put them all in this binder. We showed how to use the grease gun, where all the fittings or the grease fittings are on the machines. And now I can show someone how to use a grease gun. I can take them through, the steps on any particular machine that we have here, and then they'll be pretty well good to go because it shows them everything they need.
Yeah. So the idea of this is, how much time does having a binder like this that you can give to a new hire, what does that do for you time-wise?
Well, it frees up some time, and it also is more efficient use of their time. Like, they're not hunting around trying to find these grease fittings. They're clearly illustrated on the pages, so they can go and just complete that task, and there's not a lot to figure out.
Great. So one of the things that we did when we created the standard work was people will ask me, how do you make standard work? One of the things that we did was we got you to create videos. So let's talk a little bit about the process of actually creating the binder.
Yeah, so you asked me to send you some videos with, the close-ups of all the different fittings and how you go about it. And so I made some videos with my phone, and then I forwarded them to you, and you worked your magic on it.
Well, it worked my magic. It was a simple PowerPoint. All it was a simple PowerPoint presentation. I had a couple of columns, and I cut and pasted the pictures that you had sent me, and then we numbered them in sequence. And you and I worked closely together to make sure that the order and that we weren't missing anything, right? And then we actually went as far as to test it, because we gave the binders to some of your new hires, and they got to test it. So I think that's an important piece. And again, it talks to the quality of the tool and the ability for it to be able to enable your staff to feel productive in doing the work you want done.
Yep. Yeah, and then they know that nothing has been missed.
And that's key.
Yep.
So calves have to be fed every day, obviously, and they're constant feeding. But the cleaning, when does that usually happen?
We usually do it every day. It can vary a little in time, just depends on the job a person's doing, but typically in the afternoon, especially on these hot days. It's kind of nice to be in this cool environment.
Right. So you had, formerly you used to have one person who did this pretty well routine.
Yeah. So we had two of us basically knew how to do it, and one person was doing it most of the time. But I wanted to make it more standardized, I guess, so that anybody could come and do it. It's a good task because it takes, half an hour, 45 minutes. So
few people know how to do it, and one person's, got some time freed up, you can send them over to do the calf part.
All right, let's go ahead and show them. Okay, so we're inside the calf feeding area. This is a pretty complex task. Gets done every day.
Yep.
We've got 22 pages of standard work. So let's talk a little bit about why did we do this for this particular area?
Well, we've got to run, they call it a circuit cleaning. So we've got to move some hoses around, and we've got to cycle water and chemical through all the lines, clean everything out. Like we're feeding a newborn baby calves, so it's super important that the hygiene level is really high. So there's a bunch of different steps. We were talking about how there was only 2 of us that really knew how to do it, and one person was doing it most of the time. So this way, we've got this great standard work pages, and so we come in that those guides, and I can just follow along the steps so they can do it. So what happens is you take a new employee, you bring them in, you show them how to do it, you show them this document. Then the next time they will refer to the document here and there. But usually, they'll pick it up pretty quick, but then they always have that there. Eh? If they have questions, they're not going to call me. They're going to just refer to the document and get the information they need to complete the task.
Which saves you time.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And ensures the quality and the safety of the calves
And the consistency of the job.
Right. So again, we've got a checklist here on the back. It's the last thing is a checklist that they can go through, make sure they've covered all the essential steps. We've got lots of photos, lots of pictures, lots of safety elements here. Wear rubber gloves, wear glasses when working with some of the components. Critically important, right? We've identified areas that they need to pay very specific attention to. So again, all about ensuring quality and safety while ensuring the new hires feel that they're contributing in a meaningful way.
Yep.
Great. So when we talk about new hires and the onboarding efficiency and effectiveness of onboarding a new hire, the visual management piece really comes into play for you. And you've got the board listed here. You've got the cows by collar number as one indicator. We've got the tags on the
leg bands.
We've got the leg bands. And then the further proof of quality is your computer equipment doesn't allow you to milk those cows because of the numbers.
Yep.
So, a new hire, you can feel confident that a new hire is going to deliver the product and do the work the way it's intended to be done.
Yeah, I mean it's all about milk quality and safety, and all these different layers are to help ensure that that we're producing a quality product, and this board in particular, before they even start milking, they've got the information they need. If there was something else I wanted them to watch for that milking, I could write that in there. You wouldn't have to go find them and tell them it's there. They would see it.
Excellent. So we spent time today at Lindenright Holsteins farm looking at how we can help free up their time, ensure that their employees have meaningful contribution and their performance is being rewarded and managed, and we're ensuring the safety and quality of not only the products they produce, but the people who do the work. And that's what continuous improvement thinking is all about.